There's only one thing I hate more than a corpo, and that's a corpo pretending to be your friend. Today we're going to be talking about Opera GX and why they've been getting so much hate recently. Before I start, I did want to mention that I personally don't use Opera GX, nor do I necessarily like them. And I'm going to go into all the reasons and stuff for that later, but for now we could just get back into the video. So recently, Opera GX has been running some sort of like weird promotion that a lot of people aren't really liking that much. So their top post on Reddit right now explains it pretty well. I'm going to show video examples and stuff of it later, but it says, annoying Eric Andre splash screen every time I start Opera. Whenever I start Opera, I get this annoying splash screen with Eric Andre screaming, and I do mean every time, not every update, every time. It seems like they also tried to disable it, and they say that that just doesn't work either. It keeps popping up. Whose idea was it anyway? Absolutely making me want to switch to a different browser. How to fix, or do I uninstall Opera for trying to be relatable and hip instead of just a functional web browser, which is all I want. So pretty much the bottom part of what he was saying in that post right there is kind of what I said in the beginning of a lot of people are kind of starting to get pissed that they're just trying to do too much to be relatable to their community, and a lot of people just aren't really being fooled by that anymore. People are just getting kind of tired of them trying to do too much to be relatable, and they kind of just want their browser to work and not get like new quirky posts every time they open the browser. And it's not just their browser. If you have TikTok, Twitter, or pretty much any social media that they're on, and you've seen any of their ads, all of their videos are honestly just kind of cringy. It's literally just corpos trying to appeal to young people too much. They basically just spam a bunch of cringy posts to act like they're normal people as well, when everyone knows that they're just also a bunch of corpos trying to be relatable. And going back to their Reddit, a ton of people are sharing the same thoughts as well. Another one of their top posts says, how to instantly destroy your PR 101. A single day has destroyed the entire community's work. And the post under that is pretty much someone else also talking about how you scared the crap out of me pretty much when he booted up the browser, and Opera commented under that, chill brah, it's only for one day, which, just a side note right quick, I don't like how they responded like that. Like, sure, it's trying to be relatable again, but like, come on now, you're actually like receiving genuine criticism, and you're basically blaming them. Oh, chill out, man, chill out. It's only one day. Clearly, he's not the only guy hating on it. Everyone is hating this right now, and you're just pretty much brushing it off. Oh, don't worry, it's only one day. Sure, it's garbage and everyone hates it, but come on, just chill out, man. You're overreacting. It's only a day. But going back to their Twitter, this whole thing pretty much comes from this like little like crossover ad campaign that they were running with Eric Andre. There's a 2-minute clip of it on their Twitter. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I'm gonna put it up on the screen. And I'm also gonna put up an example of what people are complaining about so much, which is launching the browser and basically getting jump scared. I'm gonna toss a clip of that up now. And after watching that clip, you guys might be thinking, you know, oh, that doesn't seem that bad. It's just like a little gimmick pop-up or something. And I was also thinking that until, like I said, I was reading from earlier, people are saying that it's not just like a one-time thing. It's every single time you load up the browser. And I could definitely see how that gets annoying fast. Literally every time you load up your browser, it's just someone screaming in your ear and there's literally no way to turn it off. That would honestly make me change browsers that day. Even if it is just for a day, that's so annoying. And one of the top posts under that was, I think the funniest thing this spawned was the amount of people on the r/OperaGX subreddit threatening to leave the browser. For laughs or not, it's all the homepage is filled with, and it's so effing funny. Genuinely made me uninstall Opera by having Eric Andre screaming every time I open the effing thing. Nah, adding a loud as F splash screen that scares you the first time then annoys you every other time with no way to turn it off is just effing stupid. Uninstalled. I could put a lot more examples of this on the screen, but it's pretty much everyone just saying that they're uninstalling or moving to a different browser. And I just wanted to mention on a side note, if you do want to switch from Opera to something else, I actually do recommend you use Edge. I know I might sound kind of crazy, but I used to use Chrome a ton and it just wasn't working. I don't know if it was just me, but my Chrome just wouldn't work. Not only was it siphoning basically all my computer's resources, and it's not like I have a garbage computer or something, but like a lot of the stuff on it just wasn't working. So I switched to Edge. It literally does everything Chrome does, and it doesn't tax my computer. So if you are looking to switch browsers, I do recommend at least trying Microsoft Edge. Like I said, I'm not forcing you to do it or anything, but at least try it. What's the harm in trying it? But back to the topic, Opera did respond to all of this backlash, and it's just another attempt of them being relatable and quirky. And someone's response to this was basically just calling them Chinese spyware. And Opera did respond to this guy also, and it's not your typical response though. They just straight up blocked him. It seems like they have a history of trying to cover up that they're Chinese owned or spyware, so literally anyone that mentions anything about it, they usually just get completely blocked. There's a ton of examples of this. I'm not gonna put them all on the screen because I'm too lazy, but there's literally a ton of examples of this. I also think if they were under criticism like this anyway, I feel like the worst course of action is to block people that are talking about how you have other malicious sites and how you're basically just Chinese spyware. Literally the worst thing you could do is block people for saying that, because it makes other people that don't already know, they see that and they're like, well, it actually seems like they're trying to hide something. Any company that's obviously like genuinely not Chinese owned or doesn't have malicious apps or spyware, they would have just either responded to this a completely different way or ignored it. It makes them seem so much more sus and like they're just straight up trying to cover everything up. And back to the Twitter post from earlier, a guy responds with, seems like Twitter has decided to shadow ban the previous reply I've added on here without notifying me. Anyway, here's the image version. I'm gonna go ahead and read a decent amount of this off, but this is basically this guy just linking to an article pretty much exposing how Opera's run and all of their scummy history, and this is pretty much what they're trying so hard to cover up. But it says Opera GX/1/crypto browser is a closed source browser owned by a company with a track record of selling user data, censorship, backdoored software, and involvement in predatory loans and anti-competitive behavior. While the link for this page is Opera GX, this applies to every browser made by Opera Browser as well. They also go on to include some more of the history of Opera GX, saying Opera was acquired by Chinese company Qhu 360 for $300 million in 2016. Now, I'm not sure if I pronounced that company name right, but you can read it up on the screen. But they also go on to say their other browser, 360 Secure Browser, was released in 2008 and is very popular in China. It was exposed by a whistleblower in 2012 for having a backdoor DLL that regularly connects to external servers, allowing it to remotely download and execute files. The whistleblower was verbally attacked by the company's product director. The situation eventually resulted in the app being temporarily pulled from the iOS App Store. The same browser also manually blocked access to certain sites advocating for better workplace conditions in China. In one case, they redirected certain GitHub repositories to 404 pages, making it appear as though they don't exist. In 2017, Opera released 4 different predatory loan apps on the Play Store. These apps falsely advertised statistics on their store pages and invaded users' privacy, sometimes directly sending threatening text to users' contacts if payments were late. All of these apps were in direct violation of Google's terms of services and have since been removed. All modern builds of Opera are forked from Chromium, meaning most of the proclaimed performance benefits are negligible. While the resource-limiting features of Opera GX may slightly improve the performance of other running applications, it only really serves to slow down whatever sites you have open by taking away needed resources. Opera's VPN provider, SurfEasy, resells anonymized user data for marketing research as its primary revenue stream. The Opera GX Twitter X account is not your friend. Social media managers have actual degrees and years put into study on what appeals people, but this also isn't an excuse to do some stupid shit like harass Opera GX or the people behind the accounts. I also mentioned earlier in the video that I was gonna go over some of the points on why I don't necessarily like Opera, but this pretty much explained all of it. Kind of just summing up what all of that said and going back to the point from earlier, I don't necessarily like them because it's just a bunch of scummy corpos trying to act like they're your friend. They're obviously not your friend, and they're doing pretty much what every other browser is doing, if not worse, because they try to cover up everything they do, and they also have a horrible track record. So yeah, I'm pretty much just not a big fan of them or any of their practices, and when it comes down to it, when you're looking to select a browser, just pick the one that you think will be the most useful for you, not the one that has the best social media ads. Just look through pretty much all of them and decide, hey, which one of these looks the best, which one will give me the most benefits, and which one of these will take the least resources from my computer, my phone, or whatever I'm running it on. Don't fall for these goofy traps of these corpos pretending to be your friend, because pretty much in 99% of scenarios, they're not. But that's pretty much all I have to say for today. I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one.